Hello, welcome back to Gather Now Network. My name is Amoni Mukisa, right here on Gather Now Network. And my guest today is Moses Rudende, a senior journalist who has been working on radio for quite a while, 5 years and plus. Doesn't like the word whispering because it's the rude awakening. Well, guys, welcome Moses Rudende on the channel.
When you say whispering, you make it sound like I'm doing a late night show.
Whispering, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I'd like to think I shout. If you whisper at somebody in the morning, they're not going to wake up.
But I mean, most people have earphones, have headphones in their
Yeah,
ears.
but I'm still screaming.
You still screaming.
I'm still screaming at them, man. Guys, get up.
Hey,
Motivation. Let's get up.
It's a new day.
Yeah, it's a brand new day. Let's get that energy up and get going.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
It's been a long time coming for this interview.
Yes, it's one of those things where, man, we haven't collided properly. But today there was a coincidence. I was in the area, I was hungry. I said, let me sit. Let me sit.
And you can see the setting. We're in a coffee shop. Thanks so much for Enduro Coffee for giving us this space. If you need some coffee, just pass by Enduro Coffee. Any branch.
By the way, Enduro is like the only place, one of 3 places you can get a decent Americano in Kampala.
That's quite a compliment from a man like him.
Yeah.
Because he's a very, very good coffee drinker.
Yeah.
How do you like your coffee in the morning, by the way?
To start off, I'd like a triple Americano, no sugar. Yeah, straight up. But usually now with the hustle and bustle of life, every now and then I need a shot of espresso.
Okay.
Yeah. I may start getting the shakes at one point.
Moses Rudende.
Yes, sir.
How is work?
Works good. Works good. Can't complain. Can't complain.
Was it like bouncing back to radio after that short break? I can call it a short break because it wasn't that long.
It was 3 years actually.
3 years.
Yeah. It's been, I don't want to say seamless, but the beauty about radio is that radio is really an extension of life, okay? You're relating stories that people have experienced, okay? So one of the hallmarks of a radio presenter is somebody that people can relate to. So a lot of what you're talking about is really your experience or whatever is on the pulse of the nation, whatever it is. So it's pretty easy to bounce back. If you're playing a character and then you take a break and then you come back and have to build a new audience, that's different. But if you are who you are, I figure you can just pick up where you left off.
What's that one thing that you've been obsessed with, like of recent?
Wow, that's
on radio.
I don't want to say perfection, but just connecting, doing a good job. I've always treated radio as I'm basically talking to one person, and if that one person gets the message, I feel my job is done. It's just a surprise that everybody else is eavesdropping, but I feel I want to speak to one person as opposed to preach to a crowd. Yeah.
Wow. Connection, perfection, they're all seeming to join together because when you need to perfect, you create connection.
Yeah.
On radio. So, I mean, how do you balance work with family? Because early morning, it's something that you wake up early, leave the family asleep, don't say hi to the baby girl, baby boy.
No.
How do you balance the two?
I mean, you have to make it's got to be deliberate, you making time for your family. I mean, inevitably what you're doing is for them, isn't it? Because you want to give them a life better than you had. And it's something that I've been doing for since 2010, right? So I've always been an early riser. But if you make the time for them, so you know when I come home, you've got to switch off work and focus on the kids, focus on your madam, and have just some family time, because that's who you are full-time. You're a full-time parent, you're a full-time husband, you're just a part-time radio presenter. And so you have to understand that you leave work at work, and when you're at home, it's all about home.
What's a perfect home to you like? How does it look like a perfect home?
Constructurally or?
I mean, home. Because when I speak about home, I'm thinking about family.
Yeah. I mean, home for me is just your place of escape. All right, so if it's a place you can go back to and just recharge, that's perfect for me. I mean, after all, home is where the heart is. So. Yeah.
Speaking about a place of escape,
yes,
you're a guy who's always in the ears of people, in the faces of people.
Ears, not faces.
Ears.
Just ears.
We've seen you before on TV, so it means you've been.
Yeah, but that was about 1 year only. So
1 year is enough for people to recognize that this is the big guy who's been like in our ears all the time. And that's the good thing about radio actually. Most people find it hard to put an image to the person speaking to them. Like the picture, the face.
Which is what I would have preferred.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you regret like having that 1 year on TV?
No, I don't. It was a great experience, and for me, at that moment, it felt like the natural progression from what I was doing. But if you think back to the guys who were stars on radio back in the day, they were just voices, right? And it was part of the mystique of the presenter that you try to figure out what do they look like just from their voice, right? And that air of mystery even ties them closer to you because you have all these images you've painted in your head of what they look like. So, but of course now with the advent of social media, visual media, now things are multimedia as opposed to just radio. So inevitably people are going to see your face. But I would have preferred it to have just been a disembodied voice helping people set up for their day. If I had it my way.
If you had it your way.
Yes.
Because this is fame we're talking about. How do you deal with fame? Because you're in front of people, people are keeping tabs on you all the time. How do you keep the fame not to affect your work, first of all, and also the fame not to affect the family and friends you live with?
Okay. Your question is multifaceted, so I'll take the first bit. Fame. I've never really understood that. I mean, in my understanding of fame is the kind of thing where somebody can't walk down a street, you know? Like imagine if Kanye West walked down the street, or Obama, or some Cristiano Ronaldo, somebody, Messi, there'd be a crowd, right? That's fame, where you can't lead a normal life. And in as much that as I have had a bit of, I guess I'm recognizable to some people.
You're recognized.
But I wouldn't say famous. Okay, I'm a personality.
Okay.
I'm a media personality.
You media personality.
In the public sphere, but I wouldn't say famous.
What's fame? What's famous? If someone is famous, how do you define that?
World renowned. Yeah.
You are.
I'm recognizable.
You're recognizable.
Yeah.
You know
and I'm also very self-deprecating. So
before we started shooting this episode, I said you were a living legend, and you said these are big words.
Those are just big words, man. Living legend.
Let me tell you something.
Nah.
People out there, when you speak about Rudende Moses, Rudende, that guy. At least someone has an idea of you. So
yeah, but man,
that's enough to be a legend.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But I do feel that there are those who are way more deserving of the label legend than I am. If at the end of my career they labeled me with that would be a blessing.
If you weren't doing radio, what other career would you be pursuing right now?
Something that I've thought about actually. Teaching.
Teaching?
Yeah. I actually had dreams of being a lecturer.
A lecturer?
Yeah.
Why?
Teaching at the uni. When you consider the career of education, it's not as mundane as sitting behind a desk and just crunching numbers every single day. Because every time you enter a classroom, there are people with different needs. There are people with different learning abilities, you see. People who, they have different perceptions of life. So when you're challenging their worldviews and interrogating their cultural differences, for me that, I feel would have been a more dynamic workplace for me. I wouldn't have wanted something as mundane as crunching numbers behind a desk. So I think, and maybe I will, because I have given guest lectures at a couple of universities to mass comm students.
It would be really a nice thing, because having you bring that whole experience to us, who are still trying to figure out things in school, that would be a nice experience.
Yeah,
compared to having maybe someone come out.
So I think I would have ended up somewhere in education.
Education.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you hear about the internet? Because all the life these days is
on the internet.
The internet.
The number one thing I hate about the internet, let me look into the camera. The number one thing I hate about the internet is that everybody has an opinion about everything at every time and they want to say it. It's impossible. How do you have an opinion on everything? The mating habits of the African ant, the global militarization of women politics, the right amount of water to add to an espresso to get an Americano. Man, you're inundated with that. And it's two ways. It's a great thing that everybody can say what they want to say, but it's also a bad thing that everybody can say what they want to say. So the ubiquity of the internet for me But it's such a big part of our lives now. We can't really do away with it. Understanding of internet, at least from Muntu Awansi, is social media. That's the internet. Yeah, so, but it is a very useful tool. I will say that.
We attend your coffee, and speaking about coffee,
yes,
I realized that this is a bag of coffee.
Yes,
and your coffee.
Washed Arabica.
Yeah,
Bududa.
And we need to we need to give out to one of the ladies here.
Oh,
so
please,
here's a bag of coffee. You need another one? Round, eh? So those were beans, eh?
Okay.
So looks like we don't have brown.
Okay.
We only have beans here. So get that.
We grind these.
We grind these and we give her.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jude.
Yeah.
Speaking about internet and profession, internet and fame, it brings all this conversation to your mental health.
Yes.
And as together now, it's something that we devote to our viewers and subscribers. At least we need to stress at the point of mental health because it's very key.
Very true, very true.
How do you handle the bullies that come on social media to attack you personally and also to attack the people around you?
Wow, that's a good one. I'm fortunate that I've got a thick skin. So, I mean, everybody, like I said, everybody has an opinion. But your opinion about me is not fact. I know who I am. I know what my capabilities are. I know my weaknesses. I acknowledge them. So if you have that mindset, I feel like nobody can say anything against you. They can't use that against you. A lot of people who are negative on social media are merely trying to project their own fears and inadequacies on somebody else. And we could just say a silent prayer for them. But silent prayer for them. But what I found is that if you treat them with kindness, it usually helps. Yeah. But for me, it's a thick skin. So whatever you say on the internet won't bother me.
You haven't gotten into that state of being depressed because of the internet?
I have had moments of depression, but not from the internet.
Not from the internet?
No.
How did you deal with that?
It's a reset. Somebody told me once that you should have an attitude of gratitude and try to focus on the positive as opposed to thinking about the negative. And many times people focus on the negative that might be minuscule. Yes, it might be a big thing, but sometimes you find that what you're worrying about was really something that shouldn't have been worried about in the first place because it was either out of your control or it was inevitable, right? So if you come to accept that, it probably will help you.
Wow. That's quite important because if you focus on something that's so positive, then you don't dwell on the negative.
Count your blessings.
Yeah. So, speaking about internet and depression and mental health, it brings us to the point of finances.
Yes.
Because all the things, when you're dwelling on them, it means you're looking for money.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. We're in a capitalist economy.
Because if you wouldn't bump into them, it means you just stay at home and then maybe everything is on a silver plate for you, but you get into this trouble because you're looking for money. How do you make sure that you handle your financial literacy very well? Like most of the guys that are having challenges in this life, it's because they have poor financial skills.
That's true.
How do you handle your finances?
Planning more than anything else. You've got to have you have your needs, you have your desirables, you have your wants. Okay, so needs are non-negotiable. Okay, so those ones you have to plan for them. And then it's always nice to split it up, compartmentalize, and say no matter what happens, if you can, because I understand saving is a facet of earning.
The saving culture in Uganda, people is very, very poor.
When you think about it, maybe we don't. I've always had an issue with people who say, man, save whatever you can, save whatever little. But man, saving implies a future,
plan.
Exactly. Man, I'm hungry now. I don't want to eat in December. I want to eat now. You understand? So sometimes it's really hand to mouth. But if you do happen to have a windfall, it would be nice to put something away for a rainy day. So that's what I do. I know that I'm fortunate enough to have enough to put something away for an emergency. Because in UG, man, you're one medical emergency away from poverty.
Very, very true.
You see? Or just something random. bash a guy, you bash a board, just anything can happen. So it's nice to have that cushion, no matter how small it is. But then you also need to ask yourself, do I really need to get this? You see, a lot of people are forced into spending because, going back to social media, you go to social media to compare yourself to everybody else. Yeah. But everybody's putting the good stuff, not the bad stuff. So you don't see, what they went through to get whatever they had. So if you're just simply going on to, man, they're doing this, they're doing that, I also need to turn up. Be happy for you, all right? If what you don't have, you don't need it now. You will get it eventually. Work towards it. Make it a plan. It doesn't just come at the drop of the hat. There's a process to it.
Our viewers would want to know what really, really forced you to come back to the game. I know we had skipped that question, but the viewers need to really know what forced you to come back to the game of radio, and now you're working with Next Media Services.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, what prompted you to come back?
The timing felt right. It felt right, and usually, at least with me, it's when I feel I have something to say. Okay, and I just felt I had something to say. Yeah, I went away, did school, came back. Yeah, and the opportunity came. I said, why not?
How's it going?
Quite well. You'd be surprised. I didn't think that I'd bounce back that fast when it comes to waking up early, but
What time do you wake up?
coffee and steroids, 4 a.m.
Are you addicted to coffee?
I wouldn't say addicted, but dependent.
Dependent.
Yeah.
When you wake up at 4 a.m., have a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
6 a.m., cup of coffee, during the show, 9 a.m., cup of coffee.
I don't have coffee past 10 a.m. So that helps me sleep.
Past 10 a.m.
Yeah, I made a conscious decision. Once I'm off air, no coffee. After that, I'm quaffing water and tea.
Wow, that's a nice one, because you're decaffeinating the caffeine in your body.
Exactly.
Most people are taking coffee right
Where you're at this at 9 p.m. like this, you're buzzed, you're looking at the ceiling, you're like, I have to wake up at 4, I need to get into bed, but the brain is awake like this. Caffeine.
So we have the top 10 questions that we always ask every guest that comes on the show. Are you ready for these questions? Well, question number 1. What animal would make the best type of president if the animal kingdom ever raises up to take over?
You need something that is methodical, wise, and not too impulsive. So I'd say an owl.
An owl?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, poetically, owls are wise, so I'll go with owl.
Okay. What's that one thing that makes you lose your temper?
Tardiness. If we say it's 10 a.m. And you 10:20, and it's very common in Kampala, so it's quite a peeve for me. People who just don't keep time. Because I believe keeping time is the highest respect you can give somebody.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Bad timekeepers, eh? All right. What's the strangest thing you are afraid of?
I'm not afraid of many things, by the way, but I am afraid of spiders.
Spiders?
Yes, but not this household variety. You know those big ones you find in the wild which have like red and yellow markings and stuff? Those ones freak me out. So spiders. Everything else, snakes, I'm not afraid. Cockroaches, praying mantises. I don't know why are people afraid of praying mantises.
Everyone has a good app idea. What's yours?
Downloadable food. I'm glad you asked that. One day, when I figure it out, I'll make an app where you can download food from the internet. Trust me, that day is coming. And when we hit that, that would be the pinnacle of human achievement.
I think so. Because
downloadable food.
Just imagine you're here and they download food off my phone.
I mean, everything will be downhill from there. What else can you do? Yeah, so that's my great app idea.
Phone.
Elon Musk. Yes.
Working on that, eh?
Yeah.
Elon Musk is taking us.
Make it happen.
Man. Who was your first celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson.
Rhythm Nation. Yeah.
You got that?
In the 80s. Janet Jackson, I don't know if you'll see this, but if you do,
make it happen.
Janet. JJ.
What's the fashion trend that you never understood?
Colored hair.
Colored hair?
Yeah.
It's a trend on most guys these days. And especially you.
But there's colored hair that is...
You mean tinted hair?
Yes. There's colored hair that's all right. But the one that's like shouty, like luminous green,
Yellow.
like yellow, neon orange, I'm thinking, okay, it's a cry for help. What is happening here? So colored hair.
What's the favorite cuss word?
It's interesting. I don't usually cuss, but when I had kids, I had to learn, because kids are sponges. They just pick up words. So now I've found that the easiest one that my mom will not lambast me for, because when she talks to her grandkids and they say a word, I don't mind them saying bloody.
Bloody.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I just stop it at that. I just like bloody.
Only blood.
Just bloody.
What's the most rebellious thing you've done as a teenager?
My teenage was just one period of rebellion, really. Everything. Because you're striking out, you're trying to form your own personality in the world, and you don't want to be compared to your parents, you don't want to be, this whole thing of carrying on the legacy and stuff. So I think for me it was a whole rebellious thing. So I can't pinpoint one thing. It was just a blur of years of rebellion.
Name 3 words that describe you.
The 3 words that describe me, I would say hungry.
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 So if I want to describe Rudende,
hungry is
he's hungry.
Yes, he's multifaceted. That's multifaceted. I'm hungry for food, I'm hungry for success, I'm hungry for more.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'd say resilient and relatable.
Relatable.
Yeah, relatable.
And
It's a tough question. That's a very tough question. My goodness. 3 words. Just 3.
But you conquered it.
Confident.
Confident.
Yeah.
Did you need like 5?
3 is good. 3 is good. Hungry, relatable, and resilient.
What advice would you give a 15-year-old you?
In 3 words. Buy Bitcoin.
Did you just mention that?
Yes, I did. 15-year-old me, if you see this, buy Bitcoin.
Is that the future? You think so? And you believe so?
You buy it.
Buy Bitcoin.
It's not for right now. You see, this is the future to my 15-year-old self.
Oh.
Boss, buy Bitcoin.
The old Rudende, have you heard? I mean, the young Rudende, buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay? Rudende, thanks for creating some time for us.
Please, thank you. Thank you for
so
so much.
That you made it through to Gather Now Network.
Yes.
And appreciate your time. Well, I believe you had it all from the one and only Moses Rudende, the great giant, who has been quite sensational in the radio and television industry. I hope you've learned a thing or two. So let us know what you think about this episode by going down into our comment section right here, and let us know what you think. But also, don't forget to subscribe to Gather Now Network for more videos that are coming right up. My name is Amon Mukisa, and I will see you next time.